Hello, everyone, and a huge welcome to our annual Publications Autumn Online Conference. So my name is Victoria Kolesnik, and I'm an LT consultant for Linguist Company. And today we welcome two wonderful speakers, Ґреґ Sotіропулос and Іоанна Міха. And they are here to share their best ideas with us. So you may use our chat box. Hello. Lots of greetings. Hello from Lviv. Okay, hello. Kyiv. Yeah, Zhytomyr, again, Lviv. So I can see that today we have the educators all over Ukraine. Zaporizhia, hello, hello. Yeah, so today we'll take a look on how to use simple but at the same time great strategies to build creativity, critical thinking, and better language skills. And yeah, we'll talk about smart and new ways to use AI for integrating other subjects into English lessons. And a quick reminder before we start. So you will get your certificates within 3 working days after the conference. So please keep an eye on your inbox soon. And now I'm really excited to introduce our first speaker, Ґреґ Sotіропулос. So he's a real star at all our events, and we always look forward to hearing what he has to share with us. So he's amazing at making complex ideas easy and practical. So Ґреґ, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Victoria. Hello, everyone. Just give me one moment to share my screen. Okay. Let me open up the chat box, because as you all know, I love to talk with you while I speak. Okay. So, if everyone can please give me a thumbs up if you can see me, if you can hear me, and if you can see my first slide, please. Thumbs up. You can see me, you can hear me, and you can see my slide. Yes? Yes. Excellent. It's okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Always a pleasure to be here with you, to share my suggestions, my ideas, food for thought, as I like to call it. And today, we are going to look at and explore lots to hots, lower order thinking skills to higher order thinking skills through using some of our 21st century skills. Now, truth be told, in my travels around the world, I have seen that our students, our FGACs, our future global agents of change, are exponentially not using their higher order thinking skills anymore, which in the past, they were using them a lot more often. Now, what are higher order thinking skills? What is this higher order thinking that I'm talking about? Please write in the chat box some of your ideas on what you think higher order thinking revolves around. What does it revolve around? Higher order thinking. Give me some suggestions, some ideas, if you've ever heard of it before, so that I can see in the chat box, please. What is higher order thinking? Analyzing, evaluating, creating. Excellent. Anyone else? Creating, yes. Problem solving. Adaptability, absolutely. Very good. Applying, okay? A lot of people are writing creating. I like that. Critical thinking, all right. Analyzing, creating, problem solving. Hello, hello. Okay, everybody's spot on with your answers. Soft skills, absolutely. All of your answers revolve around higher order thinking and being able to reflect and produce something new. Excellent. So my next question is, are our students doing what we're writing in the chat box in our classrooms? Or are they sitting back and waiting for the information to be given to them in black and white, have them study the information, have them regurgitate the information for a test, get a grade, get the assessment, and then that's it, finished? You see, what I just mentioned to you is lower order thinking skills. So everybody, you're spot on with what you said. Why do we need it? Because of what I just explained, that our students aren't doing this enough. Our students need this for their future. Our students need to understand that this needs to be integrated into the classroom. So we're going to look at how we can do this, how we can integrate higher order thinking in the classroom. We will see that today. I'm going to help you through using examples of Portal to English to help our students increase their higher order thinking skills. Yes, lots of the basic knowledge, but we don't want basic, do we? No, we don't want basic. So, oh, I don't think give me a minute. I didn't activate the sound. Give me a second. My apologies. Share sound. Share. Okay, let me go back. Okay. So, I'm going to show you a slide right now, and it's going to show you different things that are happening inside a house. And what I want you to do is to think, no pun intended, use your higher order thinking skills. What would you do first if these things were happening in your house? Okay, so let's see if the sound is going to work. Can you hear it? No, sound isn't working. No sound. Okay, as a teacher, this is what we do. Plan B. A phone is ringing. Ring, 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 ring. A baby is crying. At the same time. Okay. As the baby is crying in your house, someone is ringing your door. Ding dong, ding dong. They're not going away. Ding dong. The phone is ringing. You just did laundry. It starts raining outside. All the clean clothes are getting wet that were just dried in the sun, right? You went to turn on the water before the baby was crying and the water isn't stopping. You're turning the faucet and it doesn't stop. The water isn't stopping. So what do? All of these things are happening at the same time. So my question is, what do you do first? Someone wrote, first the baby, and then everything else. We put the baby first, right? What do you think? What would you do first in this situation? The phone is ringing, the baby is crying. There's someone ringing at the door. It's the ACS guy, the courier. It's raining, the clothes are getting wet. The water doesn't stop. Someone writes, just smile. Hakuna Matata. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Be chill. Tranquilo. Cálmate. Stop the water. Rush to the baby. Take a deep breath. I love some of these answers. It's interesting. A lot of you are writing about the baby. I don't know about you, but with my first child, yes, I would have answered you, go and take the baby, pick up the baby. But with my second child, I just let him cry a little bit. It was good for his lungs to develop. So this is pretty much, I don't know, subjective, I guess. Depending on which country I visit, people put a priority on these. In some other countries, they said the clothes first. The clothes first. Imagine that. In another country, they said the water. They went and shut off the main valve of the water in the house because water is liquid gold for them. Interesting. This is what the teacher said to me. We tried to turn off the water because we're wasting water, and water is too valuable to waste. Interesting. It depends on perspective. It depends on environment, society, and where you live, right? So, higher order thinking. It's a mix between creative thinking, critical thinking, decision-making, and problem solving. Now, this isn't saying that your answers were wrong, because in doing these four things leading to higher order thinking, we also analyze, we do use soft skills, we do communicate, we do many other things regarding creative thinking, critical thinking, decision-making, and problem solving. So you're all spot on. Okay. So let's jump into critical thinking. We've discussed this many times, but I'm looking at it a little bit differently right now. Because for me, critical thinking is a mix of all of these words that I'm sharing with you. Please take a moment to reflect on these words. But Aisa, you're absolutely right. To go from lots to hots, it depends on the situation, the aim, and the task. But I have to tell you that we can implement hots in everything we do. And I'll explain that to you throughout this talk, okay? Because our aim in everything we do shouldn't be just taking things for granted and asking for everything on a plate ready. We have to have our students think beyond what is in front of them. As I'm going to say in a little while, to think outside the box. So this is a mix of what critical thinking is. And I summed that slide up into this particular phrase. Millions saw the apple fall from the tree. But Sir Isaac Newton asked the key question, why is this happening? Why are they falling and hitting the ground? What is it that is making this happen? Curiosity, critical thinking. This is what I want our students to do when dealing with the language. So when we take critical thinking and we take curiosity, take a look at the words that have come up with revolving around this word, curiosity, this 21st century skill. Pretty interesting. So if we take all of these describing words and put them in a pot together, it takes us to something like this. Penguins are black and white. Some old TV shows are black and white. Therefore, some penguins are old TV shows. Huh? What does that mean? If you gave this to your students and asked them to talk about this, what would you do? What would they say? They have to start using their curiosity and critical thinking. Because this puts them in a different perspective in ways to solve problems when they use their critical thinking and their curiosity, okay, and their creativity. Now, let's take a look at this picture. This is a warm-up right now regarding high-order thinking. Does this gentleman seem excited? Look at his perspective. He's stuck on this island. He sees a boat. What does he feel? What is he thinking besides yelling the word boat? What is he thinking in his mind right now? What is he thinking? At last. What else? Ask your students this question with this picture. What else can he be thinking? I am saved. Yes, Yulia, we said it at the same time. Exactly. I'm saved, right? Thank goodness. My prayers have been answered, right? Thank God, right? All of these things a student can think of. Now, do you see that man over there in the boat, far off in the distance? Let's take a look at what he's thinking. Interesting, isn't it? So now, what? Your students would find this funny too. So now, what is the gentleman in the boat thinking? Ah, I can step on land. I'm saved. At last. Thank goodness. Right? They're both thinking the same thing, but both of them want different things. Okay. It's all about thinking outside the box. My dear friends, I'm going to have a lot of slides to show you in the next 25 minutes. This is the first time that I'm going to go quite quickly in showing you my slides. Because what I want to do is implore you to look at Portal to English in a way that will have the students not think of English as something in black and white, like the penguins. I don't want the students to look at it like a person on an island thinking they're saved, or a person on a boat leading to the island thinking that they're okay now. I want our students to think like this, that when you're playing tic-tac-toe, right, how many students would think like this outside the box? This is how we have to think of the language when we're studying the micro skills and the macro, the micro skills and the macro skills of English. When we think outside the box, it's all about having a good idea, but not just a good idea by having lots of ideas. You need to think outside the box as a teacher as how you're going to deliver the activities to your students so they can use their higher order thinking skills. So when we're talking about, wait a minute, my screen just froze. Give me a minute. One moment. Why? There it is. All right. So when we're talking about critical thinking, we have evaluation, solving problems, analysis, and making decisions. Okay. Now, from the critical thinking, we move towards solutions. With solutions, wait a minute. With solutions, right, we're able to come up with solutions when looking at the activity that we're working on, right, using these four that I just mentioned: making decisions, solving problems, analysis, and evaluating. In looking at these towards the solutions of the activities that we're delivering, this in fact is called convergent thinking. It's not having the students look at something as an individual, but rather in pairs and in groups. Please have your students work together when learning English. Their critical thinking skills will develop at a much stronger rate. The same goes for creative thinking. With creative thinking, we focus on divergent thinking, which means, what's the problem? Let's analyze the problem. Let's think of creation, evolution, invention, innovation, in order to then move from creative thinking, go towards the critical, and find that solution. How can we act as higher order thinkers? It's basically looking at the language, vocabulary, grammar, reading, and not learning the language for the sake of answering questions, learning rules, memorizing, regurgitating. Rather, looking at a language and really trying to understand the why, the what, and the how. I love your emojis. Some of your emojis are cracking me up. So how can we help our students develop this? Okay. A little comic says, "Can you help me, Miss Martin? This wasn't covered in one of my education courses." Kids go a little bit crazy when they don't understand something. When kids don't understand something, this is how they look, because they don't ask questions. Students sit there and wait for you to give them all the information. Therefore, they are very passive in their relationship with you in learning English. Is this the goal of education? Having them look like this and telling them what to think? Part of it is lower order thinking skills. Forcing them to memorize and to learn what it is they have to think about. But if that happens, then when our students go to go for a job interview, and they go to the human resource manager, and she asks, "I see that you did well in school, but what real world skills do you have?" Our students will say, being passive as a student and sitting there and not asking questions and not raising their hands and not being curious and not using their critical thinking and not being creative, will say, "Tests. I can take tests and I can pass tests really well." That's not what we want for our future, especially in Ukraine, right? We want students to use their higher order thinking skills, not to be passive. So as Albert Einstein said, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. And that's what we're going to do right now. Make our students 21st century learners. Have them actively learn in school. The goal in the schools now in Ukraine are going to be not just having them learn what to think, but how to think. We want them to not only use higher order thinking skills, but be higher order learners. We don't want them just to be better thinkers, but better language learners. This is what we want our dear students of Ukraine to become. This is what they have to become. We need them to be like this, to have this mindset for their future. So, in constructing this mindset, in constructing this learning framework, we're going to focus on Bloom's revised taxonomy. Remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. I want us to focus on the top three: analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Yes, they will remember, they will go home and study. They will understand it. They will apply it on a test. But then the analysis, the evaluation, and the creating part needs to be developed. So, creating, evaluating, analyzing, applying, understanding, and remembering. Can students recall information? Yes. Can they explain the concepts? Yes. Can they use the information in another familiar situation? Yes. Can they break the information to connect with and explore the relationships between each? For example, we give two examples in grammar. One of I'm having my brain just went. Sometimes you think too much, and the thoughts are so much that you can't get it out of your mouth. Come on. Present simple. Yes, thank you. Present simple and present continuous. We give them an example of each. An example. Now we ask the students to get into pairs and find out why they're different. What is it that makes them different? How are they different? Why are they different? They're going to analyze it. Okay. Can you justify your decision as to why? Okay. Create a new idea. Give me another example underneath the example that I provided for you. This is what we want our students to do. So, to promote this, right, we need to help them, all right, with these subcategories, these sub-skills. In our books, we assist in doing this, in helping them with their high order thinking, okay? With higher order thinking, students need background knowledge, okay? With background knowledge, the students are going to be able to work on an activity, first, stress-free. Second, understanding through schema theory and realia, if in fact they have seen these before. So when we're dealing with vocabulary, for example, I don't want us just to jump in to the visual prompt and have our students start figuring out what these things mean. Put students together in pairs and have them talk about these things. Look at the bedroom. Does this bedroom look familiar to you? Do you have any of these things in your bedroom? Right? Holiday activities. How many of us have ever gone on a holiday, a vacation? What have you done on vacation before you even show the vocabulary? Students will start answering you. Okay, let's take a look at this vocabulary exercise. Get into pairs. Has anybody traveled abroad, gone sightseeing, done water sports, tried local food? Now listen to what I'm doing. Do you see the vocab? This is a vocabulary lesson. But I'm changing the grammar, the tense, right? I'm asking the question, has anybody ever traveled abroad, gone sightseeing, done water sports, tried local food, right? Gone. Yes, Julia. I'm implementing it, but I'm not teaching it. By all means, I'm not teaching it, but I want the students to hear it. The students are going to start using their higher order thinking and saying, oh, we're learning vocabulary, but the teacher is speaking, and I'm looking at these words with my friend, and we see that they're changing the verbs into another tense, right? They don't need to know what you're writing. You're right, present perfect, but they don't need to know this. They need to listen to it and just make this association that it's changing. Okay. All right. Okay. So, background knowledge. When a student has a main idea and there are related ideas surrounding that main idea. One example that's in the book is about recycling. And I love showing this symbol for recycling. So here's a great thing to try. Have students come up with their own symbol for recycling, put them into groups, and have them think of a new motto, a new logo for recycling. Here's another one regarding background information. Do you know what an escape room is? Have you ever been to an escape room? Did you have fun? If not, would you like to experience one? If you've never experienced an escape room, would you like to experience one? But in the question, did you have fun? Some students may say no. Why didn't you have fun? Because I'm claustrophobic and I can't be stuck in a room with the doors closed, right? How much do you know about monkeys? Read the sentences below. Which statements do you think are true? Have students do this in pairs, all right? But before you do that, maybe you could do this as a huge group and ask students these questions in an open discussion. Listen to the sounds. Which of the means of transport do you recognize? Okay, background knowledge. Introducing the topic through visual prompts and discussion. The cover page, background knowledge. There's always a short video explaining some of the functions and concepts, background knowledge. Don't rush when we're talking about background knowledge. This is what gives the students the comfort zone that they know something. Okay, take your time. Now, predicting. Robinson Crusoe, yes, the classic story. Giving activities to allow our students to predict what it is they may learn or what it is that they think may happen. For example, the over to you sections of discussion says, if you were Robinson Crusoe, would you go back on the ship? If so, what things would you get? How do you think the story continues? Would you like to read Robinson Crusoe? And the activity before this was, find an adjective in the text which means with a lot of sun. So with predicting, what I want you to do is, when doing reading activities, is not just have the students read and answer questions. Have them get into the text, go beyond the text. Problem solving. Think it through. I love these. Okay. Work in pairs. Student A, student B. Talk in pairs. Communication. Oh, sorry. Problem solving requires more than one mind to think about something. Okay. When students are doing problem solving activities, such as the one that I'm showing you now, students will look at this and get thoroughly confused as to what it is they have to do. Take them step by step when using the book as to how to break this down. When it comes to problem solving, examine solutions, generate solutions, implement and evaluate solutions, gather data, identify the problem, select the best possible solution. So when we're looking at this, and we have student A and student B, The mayor of your town or city has decided to build a facility for young people and has asked for your opinion. There are 4 options. Student A, look at your 2 options, and student B, look at your 2 options. Read the advantages and disadvantages. So they want to build this facility, and they don't know what to put into it. So this is a problem. What is it that we have to agree on to put into this facility? So some of the students will say, I don't agree with yours because I believe that it's a problem. Okay, I think mine would be a better solution because of X, Y, and Z. So for them just to say that isn't enough. They have to gather data, identify the problem with the other person's idea, and select the best possible solution. Okay, step by step. Now, what is the flow of what I just showed you here? The flow is this. First, we identify the problem. Next, we gather the data. Next, we generate solutions. We examine those solutions together. We select the best possible solution, and we implement and evaluate it. We give students a step-by-step framework for their higher order thinking on how to solve a problem. Because let's face it, adults aren't doing a really good job of it worldwide, so to speak. So why not teach our students how to do it a little bit more effectively? This is what's important to English when it deals with problem solving. Step by step on how to solve a problem. And here are many different activities through the Think It Through pages that will help our students to actually follow this framework. But do our students take notes? Do our students actually write with pencils? Highlight, copy, paste, edit, type, scan, print, and we're finished. When students start to write down notes and they start using their minds and transferring that information to their hands and writing down notes, it is a totally different neurological stimulation and relationship when it comes to learning. Okay. I love to have a spontaneous notebook for problem solving for our students whenever it comes to think it through. Okay. Now, going back to Bloom's taxonomy, just to give you an idea on this think it through activity, familiarizing, developing, and applying. I find horse riding thrilling. The Olympic Games are held every 4 years. You shouldn't miss this film. The film came out in 2017. The Australian Open is a tennis tournament. Facts or opinions? So here we're learning about facts and opinions. When you ask your students for an opinion, are they able to give their opinion well thought out? Probably not. But facts? Of course, because social media is filled with unfiltered facts, not knowing which is true or which is false. So think it through pages help with problem solving. The clue pages, my dear friends, always use clue pages. Please don't omit them from your lesson plans or your curriculum. They are splendidly fun pages that help the students to look at the language from a different point of view, not worrying about how to use the language, but it's more about learning new things. So, when students are learning about science, art, social studies, maths, etc., the themes and what we do with the projects to help our students to literally think outside the box when it comes to English should not be omitted. And use them whenever you want. Okay? There is no set time or period for you to use these. Physics. Okay. The project pages for CLIL. Science experiments. My colleague Ioanna, she's going to talk to you more about this when dealing with math and science. So we give the students a little taste here in our Portal to English books, and then we can throw them down to math and science, as Ioanna will discuss, and get them even more curious about the subject through using the English language. It's not a problem about being late. I'm happy that you're here with us right now. Scaffolding. I told you it's a lot of information today. Okay, I apologize, but I wanted just to give you a thorough idea of what it is that I'm talking about with Portal to English and HOTS. So scaffolding, connecting to our CLIL lessons, proximal development. What are all these words? What a student can do on their own, what students can't do on their own, and you find that happy crossover, that overlap, right? So it's not too easy for them. It's not so challenging that they can't do it and they can't understand, but it's that lovely, comfortable scaffolding area, right, that you build on that the students are going to appreciate and respect in the classroom. So just like problem solving, our projects are something that students need to look at in depth, right? Research, write, and present. Oh my goodness. Research, ChatGPT. ChatGPT, come on now. Come on now. You guys are all Sigma, huh? You know what to do when they do research. Take those apps and see what percentage of what they're doing is actually ChatGPT. Because it does that, right? You're laughing, huh? What do you think? I'm a cool guy. I got 2 kids. I gotta research these things, right? So we're not saying don't use it, but we're saying use it effectively. Use it to help us. So research, write, and present. Now, the research is tricky because students have to take what they have gathered and put it in their own words to make it authentic. They need to write it, so anything that ChatGPT gives them, I always ask students to write it. I force them to read it and write it again in their own words. In doing so, the third piece of the puzzle is taking what you have come up with and presenting it to the class. Stepping out of the comfort zone. Okay, guys? Yes, excellent. The culture pages, another wonderful section of Portal to English that can expand their knowledge and have them really dive into how to use the language. Okay. These pages are not a one-class page to be finished. They're to be done at home, to be worked on over the past couple of days, a little bit each day, and to have them come up with an incredible output. In case you couldn't see it. The CLIL pages that I mentioned before, which is why I didn't mention the projects then, is because when we're scaffolding, we're literally taking what they know, what they don't know, and having them figure that out through project work. Okay, here and here. And again, literature, maths, physics, art, sciences. It's beautiful. It really is. It's not a boring book. It's not something that students are going to get disengaged with. And so, just like problem solving, we have project skills page. We have a page where the students are going to learn how to tackle a project step by step. Brainstorm, plan with your partner, research all together, create an outcome, proofread what it is you're going to deliver, and then present it. And we give them a checklist for their projects. Do you use this page? If not, you shall. Okay. This is going to help them to use the language through HOTS. Grammar. Oh, we love grammar. We love grammar. Students love grammar. Students believe that grammar is speaking. Students believe that the language is around grammar. Not all students, many students, some students. Some teachers love grammar. They can't get enough of it, and students can't get enough of it. So here is the war between the deductive approach and the inductive approach. The teacher-centered approach, rules, examples, general to specific, or the inductive approach. Yes, Raisa. Yes. From specific to general. Excellent. Student-centered, questions, exercises, guiding our learners to work out the grammar rules, concepts, and functions. This is what we do. This is how we want them to think. Not to freak out when it comes to grammar. So, when we teach grammar, we want the students to understand the how. How is it being used? Not what rules do I have to use. How is it being used? And the way they're going to do this is through listening and speaking, through practicing communication. Okay, practicing communication, because they are going to learn indirectly, passively. They're going to learn grammar. And finally, two more parts, open-ended questions. The over to you sections, they're quite small. Sometimes they can be missed, overlooked in a lesson. Don't overlook it. When you see that little pencil guy with the little like red tie or whatever that is, and it says, over to you. I want us to use these because this takes them, as I said on that ladder, away from just remembering and regurgitating, analyzing. It takes them to the higher order thinking skills. And finally, autonomous learning. Okay. When we have objectives given to them in the cover page, okay, in this module you will learn, in this module you will learn. At the last lesson of the module, which is the self-assessment page, here where it says, now I can, this is where the students look at themselves and ask themselves truthfully, can I now talk about sports? Can I describe my feelings, define people and things by using relative pronouns, etc., etc.? Autonomous learning. So, my dear friends, is higher order thinking possible? Absolutely. I just gave you a plethora of lessons in which you should use to have them think outside the box. I have found that sometimes, because we are rushing after time, that we rush our lessons. Please don't. I implore you, please don't rush your lessons. take your students' lead and listen to what they are curious about, what they don't know, what they want to know. Take the time to have the students look at the language. Do not push the horses. That's right. Have the horses lead. Have the students feel that they have ownership in the classroom with you, and that this learning experience is one that they are going to learn the language not for today, but for tomorrow and the next day. That they're going to learn the language not to finish with a test and an assessment, but they're going to learn the language for their future, because it is the universal language. And through using higher order thinking, being a higher order thinker and a learner, it's only going to be in their best interest. Okay, so I am going to end on that note and tell you all, thank you so, so very much for joining us.
Okay, so welcome back. And moving on to our second session, I'm delighted to introduce our next speaker, Іоанна Міха. She's a frequent guest at our events, and we always value her expertise. So today she will be presenting a very hot topic right now, using AI in student-centered maths and science classrooms. So this is something every modern teacher needs to know about. So we are really keen to hear your ideas on this topic. So, Iana, you're welcome.
Hello, everyone. Give me only 1 minute to share my slides. Well, so welcome back, and thank you very much for joining today's session. Ґреґ, your presentation again was amazing. Thank you for this. So, I am Ioanna Micha. I am the academic consultant at MM Educational Group, and I focus on maths and science education. Some of you may remember that in our last webinar, we explored the use of tech in student-centered maths and science classroom. Some of you may also remember that I shared a few ideas for using artificial intelligence in your classrooms. So today, we will go deeper. This presentation is all about how AI can enrich our teaching and make maths and science more visual, interactive, and student-friendly. We will look at simple AI examples and how they can help us support different learners, explain abstract ideas, and encourage independent thinking. Let's begin. Please feel free to chat to express your opinions and questions. As you know, AI is already changing the way we teach and learn, and it's growing very, very fast. In this presentation, we will focus on this so big and important topic. There are many exciting benefits of using AI in the classroom, like personalized learning, instant feedback, and support students who need extra help. But of course, there are also risks and concerns, such as accuracy, fairness, and how much students may rely on such tools. In this session, we will try to cover all the aspects of using AI in our maths and science classrooms. We will have a chance to see what's possible and to start thinking about how we can use AI wisely and responsibly in our classrooms. We will also see a few practical examples of how we have enriched our maths and science series in Vector Maths and Science with AI activities. First of all, let's say a few words about why AI chatbots could be useful in teaching. AI chatbots are new tools that can support students' learning in exciting ways. These tools use artificial intelligence to talk with students, just like a helpful tutor. Students can ask questions, get explanations, or check their answers. This gives them instant feedback even when the teacher is busy or the student is studying at home. This is very useful for students who are shy or who don't want always feel comfortable asking for help in class. It helps them become more independent learners. These tools are also great for review. Students can review topics in their own words and get support anytime, like having a tutor in their pocket. Of course, we still need the teachers, but AI tools can save time, give extra support, and help students practice at their own pace. And of course, according to their needs. But what is the role that AI could play in modern education? First of all, AI tools make learning more interactive and inquiry-based. Instead of just consuming information, students explore, test, discover through AI-driven simulations and feedback. Another very important thing is that AI automates repetitive tasks such as grading, quiz generation, allowing in this way teachers to focus on guiding, on mentoring, and providing deeper learning experience to our students. When students verify or build upon AI-generated content, they practice evaluating evidence and, of course, thinking creatively, skills that are essential for modern problem solving. AI, of course, can help us support differentiation. How? AI can personalize content to match each learner's need, offering extra support or enrichment where needed, helping every student succeed at their own pace. AI activities naturally connect mathematics, science, and technology, encouraging this way cross-subject learning and real-world application, and preparing our students for the future. Artificial intelligence literacy is no longer optional. It equips students with digital, ethical, and analytical skills that are vital for 21st century education and careers. So, as we introduce artificial intelligence in our teaching, we are not only making lessons more engaging, we are also helping students build essential 21st century skills. AI offers opportunities for students to analyze and verify information rather than accept it passively. When they check AI-generated answers in maths or science, our students learn how to reason, to question, and make evidence-based decisions. That is very important in our subjects. Students can use AI to generate stories, to design experiments, or to simulate real-world scenarios. In this way, AI becomes a tool for creativity, for creative exploration, rather than a shortcut to ready-made answers. AI projects often involve teamwork. For example, students working together to test models, compare outputs, or co-create presentations. And this promotes communication, problem solving, and shared responsibility. AI tools also help students to express their ideas clearly through visualization, summaries, or slide design, while still emphasizing human interpretation and presentation skills. Understanding how AI works, what data it uses, and how to use it effectively helps students become digital citizens, not just technology users. Discussing about bias and data privacy with our students and fairness in AI systems builds awareness of the ethical dimensions of technology and encourages responsible use of AI and technology. Artificial intelligence tools can provide personalized feedback, helping students monitor their own progress, set goals, and adjust learning strategies. All these are key habits for lifelong learning. Of course, there are a lot of benefits of using AI as a teaching tool. Let's see them. AI enables differentiated instruction by adjusting tasks and feedback to each learner's level, helping both struggling and advanced students progress effectively. Interactive AI tools like simulations, quizzes, or chat-based learning Make lessons more dynamic and student-centered, boosting motivation. By automating administrative tasks such as grading or data collection, AI allows us, teachers, to focus more on creative instruction and student interaction. On the other hand, AI encourages students to explore what-if questions, to analyze all the outcomes, and think critically about information generated by machines. It connects classrooms with a wide range of digital materials and experiments, and global perspectives beyond the textbook. But there are also a lot of challenges in using AI in our classrooms. First of all, ethical and privacy concerns. AI systems use data, so teachers must ensure students' personal information is protected and used responsibly. AI should support and not replace the teacher's expertise or student reasoning. Human insight remains essential in maths and science classroom, and this is something really important that we have to keep in mind. Because AI can sometimes be unfair or make mistakes, students should learn to check each answer carefully instead of just trusting them. Of course, some schools and students don't have the same access to AI tools, to technology and internet, and this can lead to unequal learning opportunities. Something that has to do with us, the teachers, is that we have to be ready for everything. Effective AI integration requires training for us, confident and ongoing professional development for all the educators, for all the users. And now it's time to discuss some basic rules of using AI in our teaching. First of all, use AI as a support tool, not a replacement for teacher expertise. AI can enhance teaching, but should never replace the teacher's judgment, empathy, or creativity. The human connection remains central to meaningful learning. Students should learn to question and verify what AI produces, just as they would with any other information source. This builds analytical and reflective skills to our students. We have to promote creativity through AI integration. Use AI in open-ended tasks like designing experiments, writing stories, or generating visuals, so our students will become creators, not passive consumers. We have always to use tools that protect student data and explain to students why ethical digital behavior matters. Of course, the teachers should demonstrate how to use AI safely, responsibly, and respectfully in academic contexts. Students often need help interpreting AI results, so teachers should explain not only what AI says, but why it might say that. On the other hand, we have to avoid using AI for full lesson design or assessment. It's a tool to inspire the conversation, not to dictate. We have to show examples of AI mistakes to help our students learn to think carefully and make balanced judgments. Every AI activity should connect directly to the curriculum goals or skill development, not just technology use. So we have to connect the activities and the projects that are related with AI. We have to connect them with special learning objectives. We have to ensure that all students have fair access to AI tools, regardless of access, background, or skill. We have to be sure that they can benefit equally from AI-based opportunities. Learn with AI, not from AI, with AI. Artificial intelligence can be a powerful helper in the classroom, but it should never replace the human mind. In this slide, we will explore how AI can act as a thinking partner, a tool that supports inquiry, reflection, and creativity, while keeping teachers and students at the center of the learning. AI should be used to make students curious and thoughtful, not to skip the thinking process. And this is the danger. Instead of asking for easy answers, students can use AI to explore ideas and check their reasoning. Artificial intelligence can serve a conversation starter. When students discuss AI-generated responses, they deepen understanding through peer and teacher interaction, turning AI use into a social learning process. This is a social learning process. By comparing their reasoning to AI suggestions, students can identify misconceptions and strengthen their conceptual understanding. This builds reflective and self-aware learners. AI prompts students to think about how they learn, why they choose certain methods, and how they can improve their approach to problem solving, and this is metacognition. Of course, AI can foster collaboration. Group projects using AI can encourage teamwork. For example, students can use AI to brainstorm ideas, then collectively evaluate which ones make sense. It extends human capability, offering insights, resources, and feedback, but it's the teacher, it is our role with our students to interpret, question, and apply the knowledge. Even as AI becomes more advanced, qualities like empathy, ethics, and emotional understanding remain very, very important and essential in our classrooms. And now let's try to answer the question we all have in mind. What is our role in all this? What is the role of the teacher? The teacher is the facilitator of learning. In an AI-supported classroom, the teacher's role shifts from being the main source of information to a learning facilitator. Teacher helps students use AI as a tool for exploration, inquiry, and creative thinking, rather than passive consumption. Teachers model how to use AI responsibly, discussing issues such as data privacy, bias, and authorship. They help students understand that ethical awareness is important as technical skill. AI can generate answers quickly, but teachers guide students in questioning and verifying those outputs. This process strengthens reasoning, accuracy, and independence. Of course, teachers use AI tools with clear learning goals in mind, making sure that they support teaching and not just add something new to my class, to my lesson. Something very important too is that AI tools often provide analytics on students' performance, and teachers interpret these insights to personalize instructions and provide targeted feedback. We mentioned it before that we should ensure that all our students, regardless the access or ability, can benefit from this AI use, and this includes offering alternative activities and fostering digital inclusion. Because AI evolves rapidly, teachers need to stay informed through professional development, collaboration, and experimentation. This is something lifelong. This has to do with lifelong learning and makes a model for students to do the same. In this part of the presentation, we will explore some practical examples of how AI can enrich teaching and learning in mathematics and science. AI tools help students check and refine their problem solving, visualize data, and engage in simulations that make abstract concepts easier to understand. Okay, let's go on. Well, let's look at some practical ways to bring AI into the classroom through creative and inquiry-based activities. These examples show how AI can support students in thinking critically, exploring ideas, and learning mathematics and science in more engaging and personalized ways. First of all, critical thinking and verification. It is the first category. Students use AI-generated answers as a starting point. They check accuracy, explain why something is correct or not, and learn to spot reasoning errors, strengthening analytical and problem-solving skills. The second category of AI-based projects is creative storytelling. AI in this category helps students write math or science stories that mix imagination with facts and scientific knowledge. This turns abstract ideas into engaging narratives. The third one is predictive modeling and simulation. We will explain and I will give you a lot of examples of all these categories. In this category, students use AI tools to run experiments virtually, predicting population growth, testing physical laws, or modeling environmental changes. It builds scientific reasoning without needing a full lab setup. I know that many schools do not have an organized lab, so AI can help in these cases. Another category is personalized learning, for example, writing songs or quiz. In this category, AI creates adaptive quizzes or fun learning songs tailored to each student's needs and offering instant feedback and differentiated support. The next one is data analysis and visualization, where students use AI to interpret real-world datasets, generate graphs, and identify trends. It helps students connect mathematical analysis with scientific inquiry. The next one is communication and presentation skills, where AI assists students in creating slides, visuals, or scripts to explain topics clearly, enhancing confidence and clarity in scientific communication. And finally, the role-playing learning and the game and event design. In the first one, students take on roles like, for example, climate scientist or math researcher, using AI prompts to simulate decision-making, collaboration, and inquiry-based learning. And the last one, about game and event designing, uses AI to support the creation of educational games or classroom events, where students design challenges, quizzes, or story-driven missions. And this reinforces core concepts while making learning playful. So let's discuss all these categories. in detail. Okay. Critical thinking and verification. Developing critical thinking is one of the most valuable ways to use AI in the classroom. Instead of accepting AI responses as correct, students learn to question, verify, and justify every answer. We can begin with an AI-generated solution to a math problem or a scientific explanation, and then students analyze it, checking for errors, logical gaps, or missing evidence, and explain why they agree or disagree with it. This process strengthens reasoning and helps students understand the importance of evidence-based thinking. For example, in mathematics, students can check AI's algebraic steps or geometric reasoning. In science, they might verify whether AI's prediction of an experiment's outcome follows a scientific law. These basic rules of checking and correcting our AI outputs can be applied in any AI-based classroom activity, from storytelling and simulations to data analysis and game design. They help students move from passive users to active, critical thinkers who learn with AI, not from AI. Let's see an example. This is a simple but powerful activity from our new Science for All series for primary students that helps students practice critical questioning and evaluation skills using AI. Let's take 1 minute to check it. Well, the prompt asks, how are magnets used in our daily lives? Students begin by using an AI chatbot to find the answer. Instead of accepting the response as correct, they analyze and verify it. They discuss whether the AI's explanation is accurate, complete, or biased, and provide their own examples from their real life. The teacher here has to guide students to verify the AI's response by checking their textbook or other scientifically accurate sources, helping them confirm facts and distinguish between reliable information and AI-generated assumptions. This short task encourages students to think beyond AI's first response, to question evidence and to justify their reasoning. It also demonstrates how verification activities can easily fit in everyday lessons, helping students build confidence, curiosity, and digital literacy while working with AI tools. The same principle, questioning, checking, and justifying, can be applied across all AI-based projects, from simulation to creative storytelling. And let's go to the next category, creating storytelling. This category is a great way to combine creativity and scientific understanding. It helps students make abstract ideas more meaningful by putting them into stories, dialogues, or real-life situations. Teachers can encourage students to edit or expand AI's version, adding their own creativity, personality, and knowledge. This not only strengthens language and writing skills, but also builds critical thinking, as students must decide what is scientifically or mathematically accurate. Finally, creating storytelling supports cross-curricular learning, combining science, maths, and literacy, while helping students communicate complex ideas in a fun, personal, and accessible way. This is one of the projects from our brand new AI Meets Science series for lower secondary students. Let's take some seconds to check it. This project is a great example of how AI can inspire creative story in science lessons. Students imagine they are a tiny water molecule named Aqua and use an AI chatbot to help them write a story about their journey through the water circle. The goal here is to blend scientific accuracy with imagination. Students describe changes of state like evaporation, condensation, freezing, melting, while giving personality and emotion to their molecule. After AI generates a story draft, our students check for scientific mistakes, edit the text, and add creative touches or illustrations. Through this activity, students practice scientific writing, create creativity and critical thinking all at once. It helps them understand the water circle deeply, see science through storytelling, and learn how to refine AI-generated content into something accurate, meaningful, and personal. The next category is predictive modeling and simulation. Predictive modeling and simulation allow students to explore real-world questions through AI-assisted tools. Instead of memorizing facts, they test ideas, make predictions, and analyze patterns, developing strong scientific and mathematical reasoning. Teachers can guide students to compare AI predictions with actual or textbook data, encouraging critical reflection. When AI's results differ from reality, it opens valuable discussions about accuracy, assumptions, and limitations of AI. All these activities promote inquiry, problem-solving, and data literacy, helping our students think like scientists and mathematicians, curious, analytical, and evidence-driven. Let's see an example in this category. Let's have 2 seconds to check it. I checked the chat in case you had questions. I don't see any of them, so let's go on with this project. How far can the toy car go? Is an engaging example of AI-supported predictive modeling and simulation. And of course, this is from our AI Mid-Science series again. It helps students explore how variables like height of a ramp affect how far a toy can travel. Students start by asking an AI chatbot to simulate the experiment and predict the results. AI might describe the energy transformations involved, estimate distances, and explain the science behind the motion and the gravity. Then our students will act like real scientists. They will perform the experiment themselves and compare their actual findings with the AI's prediction. The discussion that follows focuses on accuracy and reasoning. Did the AI get it right? What might have missed or oversimplified? All this leads naturally to conversations about data visualization, limitations of AI, and scientific accuracy. This hands-on comparison between virtual and real experiments help our students understand both the power and the limits of AI. It strengthens their skills in observation, analysis, and evidence-based reasoning while making science active, fun, and of course, inquiry. And let's go to the next category, which is personalized learning. I don't think we have so much time, so I will take it a bit quicker. So in this category, AI can make learning more personal and enjoyable by adapting to its students' pace, interests, and learning styles. This slide highlights how AI tools can be used to create customized quizzes and even songs to reinforce key ideas in mathematics and science. And let's see an example for this category. This is an activity from Science for All series for primary students. Students here begin by asking an AI chatbot to write a short poem about 3 celestial bodies. The AI's poem provides a starting point. Students then read it critically, checking for scientific accuracy and improving it by adding their own ideas, rhythm, or emotions. What makes this activity personal is that each student's poem will be different. Some of them might focus on facts about orbits and gravity, while others may add imaginative descriptions or feelings. The AI acts as a creative partner, giving suggestions that students adapt to match their understanding and their personality. Our next category is personalized learning, for example, making a quiz, and we have gone to AI Meets Science series again, from where we can see this project. In this project, students use an AI chatbot to help them create a quiz about plant and animal cells. The AI assists by generating questions, posted answers, and explanations. And after that, students review and evaluate the AI's accuracy, correcting mistakes and improving the clarity of each question and response. The next category is data analysis and visualization. This category focuses on helping students use artificial intelligence to make sense of data in math and science. Instead of just collecting numbers, students learn how to organize, visualize, and interpret information to understand what it really means. And let's see an example of this category. This project, Snack Attack and Data Track, is from our AI Meets Maths new project for secondary students, and is a fun way for students to learn how AI can support data collection, prediction, and data analysis. The activity turns a simple classroom survey into a real data science challenge. Students start by asking an AI chatbot to predict which snack will be the most popular in their class. The AI gives its prediction along with charts or reasons behind the choice. Then students collect real data by surveying their classmates and comparing the results to the AI's prediction. Through this process, they learn how to organize and display data using, for example, a pie chart or a bar chart, and to discuss differences between AI-generated data and real-world findings. Another example for visualization is that where our students ask the AI to make a map of our solar system, and then they will check the output with their knowledge and their textbook to decide if the AI was correct or if this mapping had mistakes. And now let's discuss about communication and presentation skills. This category focuses on helping students use AI to communicate their learning effectively, both in written and spoken forms. It's about turning knowledge into clear, creative, and confident expression. AI tools can help students explain complex ideas in mathematics and science using simpler language or structured outlines. Students can also use AI to plan and design a presentation. A key part of this process is critical evaluation. Students must check that AI's content is correct, appropriately phrased and aligned with their learning goals. And this is a project that fits in this category. AI Talk Show. In this project, students start by using an AI chatbot to help write a talk show script where they interview or become a mathematical function, like a straight line or a curve. During the presentation, students take on the role of the function, explaining what is slope, the intercepts, and behavior in a fun way. This not only helps them understand linear functions, but also builds confidence, creativity, and subject fluency. Teachers can encourage students to evaluate and correct any inaccuracies in the AI scripts, reinforcing critical thinking and clarity in mathematical communication. Through this activity, students learn to explain technical ideas in simple and engaging terms, strengthening both their conceptual understanding and their ability to present confidently, which is key 21st century communication skill. Role-playing with AI helps students bring maths and science concepts to life. So instead of just reading or memorizing information, students step into the roles of a molecule, of forces, functions, etc. AI can help generate dialogues or short scenarios where students act out real-world or imaginative situations. This kind of learning develops creativity, communication, and empathy while deepening conceptual understanding. And this is an example. Maybe this is my favorite one. This activity is from Science for All series, is a wonderful example of AI-supported role-playing learning. It combines creativity, empathy, and scientific understanding in one engaging task. Students begin by asking an AI chatbot to write a short play about the famous moment when the Newton realized the concept of gravity. Γκρέγκ said before, we have all seen the apple, but only Newton thought about it, and this is exactly the moment we want our students to think about. So the AI provides a script or a dialogue that students then review for scientific accuracy and emotional depth. They edit the play, improving details, adding personality, and ensuring it reflects real scientific ideas. Next, students perform or read the play, imagining themselves as Newton, a Fred, or even the falling apple. The teacher guides students to discuss what parts of the AI story were realistic and how they improved it. Through this activity, learners strengthen communication, creativity, and conceptual understanding, turning a historical event into a meaningful, memorable learning experience. And the last category is game and event designing that combines learning with creativity and fun. And let's see an example of this category. This project, the Algebra Escape Room, can help students turn learning into a game with practicing real mathematical skills. It combines creativity, logic, and collaboration in a way that makes algebra both challenging and fun. Students will use an AI chatbot to design and solve puzzles based on algebraic concepts, such as simplifying expressions, expanding brackets, and using formulas. The AI helps generate ideas for the challenges, create clues, and even test all the possible solutions. Students then will act like game designers, testing each other's escape room to see if the paths make sense and if math is correct. So they also review and correct AI-generated mistakes, learning to think critically and verifying accuracy. This activity encourages teamwork, problem-solving, and persistence. It transforms algebra from a routine subject into an interactive adventure where students apply formulas to unlock doors, crack codes, and escape using their mathematical knowledge. All the teaching examples and AI-based classroom projects I have shared today come from Vector's brand new series, which are Science for All, a series for primary students, and AI Meets Maths and AI Meets Science for lower secondary students. These books are designed to help teachers bring artificial intelligence into real classroom practice through creative and hands-on learning. Each teaching suggestion encourages students to explore questions and apply concepts in mathematics and science while developing key 21st century skills like critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration. This series shows how AI can truly transform teaching and learning, making lessons more interactive, student-centered, and inspiring for both teachers and learners. And as we have reached the end of this presentation, I hope you have seen how AI can help us create more engaging, inclusive, and student-centered classrooms. When used thoughtfully, AI doesn't replace us, the teachers, but it empowers us. It gives us new ways to spark curiosity, to adapt learning to every student, and turn passive learners into active thinkers and finally creators. This is not about technology taking over, it's about humans and AI working together to make learning more meaningful, personal, and inspiring. The journey with AI in education is just beginning, and we as teachers have the power to guide it with wisdom, care, and creativity. Let's continue exploring, experimenting, and learning because the future of education starts right here with us and our students. I hope you found this presentation interesting and useful. Thank you very much for being here.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you for making AI seem less scary and showing us such practical ways to use it in our lessons. And my dear teachers, if you haven't explored the vector maths and science textbooks yet, now is a great time to do so. So you can always reach out to me for a consultation, and we can find the perfect vector materials to suit your teaching needs. So, Ioanna, thank you very much for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who joined us today. I know how busy your schedules are, and I appreciate you taking the chance to dedicate this time to professional growth. And we hope you leave today feeling inspired, refreshed, and armed with new practical ideas for your classroom. And one more time, a massive thank you to our incredible speakers for sharing their time, knowledge, and passion with us. So, don't forget that your certificates will arrive in your email within 3 working days. Okay. Tell me, please, have you got any questions? Thank you. Thanks a lot. Lots of thanks. Yeah, so yeah, speaking about your certificate, you will get it. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Be safe and sound, and see you next month. Goodbye.